Hi guys, John from Android Addicts with another camera update. Here we are on the July software update on both phones. Now interestingly, the Exynos has moved up to camera version 0.16, whereas this month the Snapdragon has actually stayed on 0.8. So there's been no camera update at all for the Snapdragon, which is a bit strange. But perhaps they thought it was good enough that it wasn't required in this month's update. There weren't any major problems particularly, but the Exynos has had quite a few revisions increased on its camera, so it'll be interesting to see whether we can actually spot any differences. Again, I'm going to be taking the temperature during this recording, so currently the Exynos is at 36 degrees, the Snapdragon is at 32 at the moment, but it has only just been turned on. Obviously the Exynos is my daily phone, so it's been turned on obviously the whole time since I woke up. And I thought I'd do a test a bit earlier today because it just helps to avoid all the people getting in the way. Obviously in this country it's not very good going around filming people, especially when you're in a park. Now the outside temperature here is actually 29 degrees Celsius, so it is quite warm today. That's another reason for coming early, because it's been so hot recently. I've been feeling a bit lethargic, not really wanting to go outside in the sun. Okay, I'm going to switch to the Ultrawide now as we go through the park a bit. Exynos still at 36, whereas the Snapdragon has gone up to 34. So hopefully the only people out this early are going to be very old people who are just going to be sat on benches probably, or just very young children already awake and playing in the park. Looking very similar in the sky there. Maybe the Exynos is slightly bluer, slightly more saturated. Still on the ultrawide here. Going to move back to 1x zoom. There haven't been many issues with the microphones that I'm aware of, but you should be able to hear some birds singing in the background, and obviously the pigeons in the trees. Okay, so just comparing these flower colours here. I'd say that the Snapdragon is more true to life here with the pink. And again, with the sky, it's very close here actually, but the Snapdragon does look a lot more realistic. Again, with these pink flowers coming up here, they are more saturated on the Exynos. We're now at 37 degrees on the Exynos and 35 on the Snapdragon. So the yellows and whites look very similar to me. Greens as well. Maybe slightly brighter on the Exynos. Okay, let's try and do some zoom tests here. So 3x zoom here. Now last month the Snapdragon seemed to have a strange halo effect on it, so let's go to 10x. So it's still there, you can see a sort of white outline on this seagull, which doesn't appear quite as bright, at least on the Exynos. Okay, here at 12x. It does just look like a nicer picture really on the Exynos. I mean, it's still very blurry, obviously it is digital zoom. 39 on the Exynos and 37 degrees on the Snapdragon now. Let's see what else we can see here. So this bridge is interesting. I would say it actually looks a bit better on the Exynos this month. Last month it definitely had more detail, which I think it does still on the Snapdragon. But as a sort of picture, it just looks, I guess, more smoothed out, a bit cleaner maybe on the Exynos. Okay, the coast is clear, so we can do a bit of front video recording now. See how they look. The sky on the Exynos looks really a lot less blue than the Snapdragon there. It's quite interesting. I did notice last month, we're at 42 and 40 by the way, temperature wise, so they are heating up quite a bit. But yeah, last month the Exynos really lost the colour on the front camera, certainly on my t-shirt at least. Quite interesting to see. I mean, this is just a grey shirt, so it's not going to show much, but I don't know, overall possibly better on the Snapdragon. I'll have to wait until I get onto the computer to check properly. But yeah, that's a quick front video test here. At 3x zoom here. Going into 10x. And then 12x. So there's much more detail in the Snapdragon, I'd say, if we have a look at the tail, the squirrel. And the hands of the squirrel, you can see, much crisper. We don't actually have the white sort of outline effect I can see on the Snapdragon, which is nice. So maybe it's just a thing that when you get in the sun it can't cope very well. I'll go back to 1x now. And we'll leave this squirrel to gather its nuts. Okay, so we're starting the night video test here. And we just want to see how both phones compare. So, similar to last month, the Snapdragon looks very noisy in the sky compared to the Exynos, but they're both turning the sky very blue, and it really isn't blue at all. It's quite a dark colour tonight. It's very warm as well, it's about 30 degrees out here. And don't forget that the Snapdragon can update this month. Let's go to the Ultrawide as we walk down here. God, look at that. Did you see the change in the video? Quite a dramatic change in my opinion. And the Exynos has gone quite unusable in my opinion now. So we just have a quick look over here, for example. This looks very smoothed out to me. We switch back to the main lens. That's where the difference. This is main lens and then ultra wide here. Completely different. Snapdragon is very noisy in the sky, but the Exynos has just completely blurred it out. Do some zoom tests from this angle as well, just for fun. So this is 3x zoom. So again, Snapdragon looking very noisy on the screen at least. I think on the end result video it didn't actually look too bad. 10x zoom now. So as noisy as the Snapdragon looks, it does still look better, funnily enough. Control in here. It's quite interesting really. Go back to 1x. Not sure which looks more detailed. Which with the Snapdragon. But the colours are definitely more realistic looking on the Exynos. Look at the lights, sort of fairy lights, they're quite blown out a bit on the Snapdragon there. Interesting though. The black certainly looked better on the Exynos, on the screen at least. Snapdragon looking slightly bluish, maybe bluish tint. But let's do another zoom test over here. 3x zoom. So 3x here, the Exynos just looks exactly the right colour, and in my opinion it looks, I wouldn't say more detailed, the bricks look slightly more detailed maybe on the Snapdragon. Let's go up to 10x. Try and get onto something interesting. So again, Snapdragon very, very yellow, which is not correct at all. And 12x zoom. See the detail in the grille on the Snapdragon is much better than the Exynos there. Exynos still sort of blurred out. But yeah, the lights, apologies, the lights for this area are shown properly on the Exynos in comparison, certainly in the zoom mode at least. If we go back to 3 times, if it'll let me. Yeah, so when you go into 3 times zoom, the Snapdragon seems to turn yellowish, which is a bit odd. It's to the eye, that is not correct. So 3 times this Exynos is definitely winning, reproduction at least. I'll take a few photos and we can compare those as well. Yeah, both have got the sky wrong here. It's really not blue. Exynos is slightly better, I'd say. It's a bit darker. But yeah, as soon as we get into the ultra-wide here, it's absolutely disgusting, isn't it, this picture? Unusable. Not too bad when it's better sort of lit object in it, but as soon as you go away from that, it turns into a blurry mess. So now I'll take some photos, we can compare those as well. And yeah, just let me know down below what you think of these two this month. No update for the Snapdragon, which is a bit odd, but has the Exynos improved compared to June? I think it possibly has, but the proof may be in the photos anyway, so let's take a look at those and yeah, let me know what you think down below.